Hello, welcome PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of Fata Morgana. Let's continue the story. It's been a while since I've read because it's been a rough week, but I'm back. So let's just continue. Let's just dive into back to our memories, and yeah, let's go. Let's see how the ride goes because we're actually at the event when the ride is happening currently. The place where Morgana stayed, so let's see what happened to Jacopo at that point, because that gives his perspective. The heavy curtains separating the guest room had been torn to shreds, and they were splattered with blood. A man apparently caught without enough time to defend himself, lay splayed out naked on the bed, his empty eyes fixed on the ceiling. The whole area reeked of blood. All I could do is stare stupefied at the carnage. What the hell? Why? How could this happen? My dumbfounded muttering went unanswered though. The few who were still alive could no better make sense of the incomprehensible massacre than me. The sudden, arbitrary upheaval of our world. The inexplicable, inescapable reality. Shortly after Morgana stepped out, I heard a woman scream from the front of the brothel. Next, a man shouting. At first, I assumed it was one of the customers losing his temper over something, but the tone of the scream seemed somehow off for something like that. Okay. It was long before the noise had escalated to the alarming levels, so I dashed towards the source of the shouting. Some kind of torture? Because it's getting screaming louder and louder. A good dozen men, bandits or maybe thieves, they seems more organized, had raided the brothel. They slaughtered all the customers. Okay, so this was just increasing screams because more and more people actually knew what's happening. Okay, makes sense. They slaughter all the customers, stripping them of any valuables, and they tied up the girls, killing any who resisted. The first thought that rose to my panic mind was that I needed to find Morgana. I needed to get her out of here, no matter what. I couldn't let her birthday turn into a tragedy. She had already been through enough. I had to make sure she didn't suffer any further. How did Jacopo turn out to actually imprisoning her, taking her blood and everything? How did that even happen? How did that happen? I had to make her life into something good. I searched and I searched, but there was no sign of Morgana anywhere. Until suddenly something seems to crash into me from behind, causing me to stagger. It took me a few seconds for the pain to set in, which is when I looked down to see the tip of blade sticking out of my gut. And he got stabbed and he survived? Jesus! Blood streamed along the metal surface, and there were little bits of flesh cut on the edges. I turned around just in time to see the man holding it kick me away. And before I had time to process what was happening, I hit the floor and lost consciousness. If I were a hero, I could have surely eradicated all the violent intruders in the blink of an eye, saving everyone. Protected that which I wanted to protect. Not had to lose anything. But I was a mere boy. A weak boy, helpless against a few robbers. A useless boy, unable to protect anyone. When I woke up, Maria was kneeling over me, sobbing. No sign of the thought of the tough, full-mouthed girl I knew. Aside from her, there were two other girls also crying, leaving only 4 survivors. Okay, so they were they just hide probably or something because they were inside. Yeah, I thought for a second that maybe they were outside for the job or something, but yeah, it's Morgana birthday and they've all been here, I remember, yeah. so they just like managed to survive. Apparently I wasn't dead. Looking down, I saw my bare stomach wrapped in the blood-soaked bandages. The brother lay in ruins. A bloody pile of torn, bleeding clothes and bodies. Bedding, clothes and bodies. I made my way back to the front. And all I could do was stare stupefied at the carnage. What the hell? Why? How could this happen? Yeah, apparently, like, seems like this event broke him or something, and he turned evil because of this. Somehow. My dumbfounded muttering went unanswered though. Maria stood beside me, quietly rubbing her trembling arms. Where is Morgana? I couldn't find her. Why not? I'm sorry, I looked everywhere. But I couldn't find her, I'm sorry. Yeah. I meant to say I wasn't blaming her, but I couldn't find the words. If I had power, I could have prevented this from happening. What kind of power would I have needed though? The physical strength to overpower the thieves? No, I need something bigger. Yeah, you need to actually influence the city and how the things are going. If I weren't a peasant, but someone of real influence and import, no one would dare stand up to me. Yep, okay. No petty thieves would ever even consider a raid on me, and I would have power put to punish anyone who tried. But regardless, this would have never happened at all. I was supposed to give Morgana a good life, to show her the world, to make her smile. If only I had power, absolute unflinching power. If I had climbed to the top of the ladder when the chance was offered to me, this all could have been avoided. So he feels regret because he didn't take a chance when he could. Basically. If I only had asserted my place as reality a month earlier, as the one who claimed to be my mother had urged me to. I wanted power. The power to keep everything I cared about safe. The power to change this damned world. The power to stop those filthy thieves. The power to keep her by my side. To imprison her, you mean? I wanted power. I heard about the attack on the brothel. That you were hurt. I'm so glad to see you are well. Okay, so this is the mother, right? The woman, yeah, okay. About a week after the raid, I want to see the woman who professed herself as my mother. As you would expect of someone who had served at the old lord's manor, she was very elegant and graceful. The shack where she stayed, though, was shabby, drab place with bare wattle and daub walls. I'm concerned about my safety. Of course. Show me a mother who is not always concerned about her child's safety. Says the one I'd never seen until a month ago. Physical distance has no bearing on the mother's love. She said with a soft smile. Age has clearly begun taking toll on her. I could see hints of the former beauty. If you had gone to speak with the Lord and reveal your lineage when I first came to you, you would never have been in that kind of danger. Yeah, the thing is, that's not about Jacopo. Jacopo doesn't think about danger to himself. He thinks about Morgana now. Also, if he would like actually go to become a lord like beforehand, then he wouldn't like save Morgana per se as well, because he like this event basically gave him a thought of like actually becoming a lord to prevent things like this happening. So if not for that, he probably would not prevent this anyway. There is still time. Go to the Lord's Manor, show him. I'm not really your son, am I? The one fell silent for a moment, observing me. I could see the resemblance between us, yes. I had no memories of my mother. It would be nice if she were to show back up someday, but it just wasn't likely. This whole thing felt extremely contrivate. Discussions will progress much smoother if we both know what the other wants out of this arrangement. Start by telling me who you really are. Were you actually a maidservant for the previous lord? Okay, what's the play here? She gave a nod, then walked over to a grimy shelf and retrieved the ring that looked very much out of place. It was made of gold, engraved with the elaborate insignia. Okay. Look at this. It's the Barnier's family's crest. The previous lord gave me the ring as a gift. And I've kept it even since, even after our relationship was discovered and I was chased out. I didn't sell it, because I knew I was with a child. Okay. So she's actually his mother? I expected her to actually not be, like, actually bullshitting us, but seems like might be the case. They will have no choice but to acknowledge you as the legitimate heir if you show them this ring. Why did you wait so long to come find me then? I was afraid they might kill you if I brought you in as a baby. Why were we separated? Misfortune. One day bandits came and kidnapped you. Presumably, they were hired by the Brynier's estate because they didn't want your existence coming to light. Okay. Still, why they, like, if they wanted to, like, take care of him, why they wouldn't just kill him then, instead of, like, kidnapping him? That doesn't sound right. Like, I would expect them to actually kill him back then. I consider it a miracle you're still alive. I can only imagine the stern look on my face as I listened to him speak. Part of me did indeed want to take everything she said as true. Wanted to believe I was someone important, but I couldn't convince myself I had anything other than the commoner's blood running through my veins. It would appear you've done your research and have another family, the best of my knowledge, which does indeed make me a good candidate for you to step in and claim your stake on. If I were to guess, your child with the Lord has either passed away or never existed at all. It's probably true that you worked at the Brennier's Manor, but it's probably true that you had relations with the former Lord. You were chased out, and now you live in poverty. You want to go back to the former, more comfortable life, and while you're at it, take vengeance on the current Lord. Yep, okay. But being a woman, you have no means to accomplish it yourself, so you came up with the idea of using fake son. If your child were still alive, he would be right about my age, wouldn't he? And would look similar enough for you to convincingly claim we're related. The biggest reason you choose me is because I've made something for the name for myself. Yeah, because, like, if you think about this, like, you just, like, bring some random person, like, they never heard about, that would be hard to bring him into, like, high society family. But if, like, his name is known from, like, some kind of accomplishments around, it's way easier. Because I was one of the people involved in the incinerating the revolt 3 years ago. Yeah, you are well known, as I said. The thing is, I don't know, like, the Lord would not, like, see you in a good way, if you think about this. That was not the perfect accomplishment. The perfect choice to spearhead the revolution. How dramatic. The man who set the Lord's slaves free was secretly his family. Okay, okay. So they make a cup. But, with, like, his existence, basically. No. The people would eat right up. So, how far off am I? For some time, the woman sat in silence. Eventually she broke it. Not by yelling in anger or desperately trying to refute me, but with a smile. I knew very well what lurked behind that smile too. Scorn. You're sharp for the filthy peasant. God damn it. Knew it. It seems I chose wisely. I was right, she was a manipulative, conniving shyster. But that I could work with. That fits so much better. I wasn't royalty, I wasn't a hero. I was a filthy peasant. I mean... Yep. The first thing I did after agreeing to work with the woman was not to approach the Lord, but to reveal my false lineage to my accomplices. Okay, this is very smart. This is extremely smart. Because if he like do this, basically the rumors will spread and it will reach the Lord at some point. It will be like natural flow. It won't be like, hey, I'm like your son. I'm your son, you know, basically. Yeah, that would be like instant execution, basically. And in this way, people will start talking and they will be like Lord will probably not be able to just like execute him because everyone knows him at this point. Will know him. They all thought I was joking until I showed them the ring. Then their dreams of the revolution started seeming far more realistic. Maria was the one exception. Not only did she not believe me, she tried to stop me from going through this scheme. Haven't you had enough danger for one life? You can forget about all this revolution stuff. You can build up a new brother and just stay low for the rest of our days. That really sounds so bad. You are the only friend I've got left, Jacopo. She said somewhat desperately. I sympathized with her concerns, but I didn't want to let this chance to gain some real power slip away. I was done having things taken from me away from me. Seems like it. Hear me, my fellow citizens, who live in suffering at the hands of your supposed lord. Within me flows the blood of the previous lord. I'm the rightful heir. Behold the Briar's golden ring. Prove that I'm a noble birth. Victims of this terrible tyrant, the time has come to start anew. But I shall be the one to lead you down that path. The poor, the hungry, the deprived. All of you stand with me. Okay, Jacopo is pretty good revolutionist. I have to give him that. My call to arms stoked the flames in the people's hearts. When the assault on the Lord's manor began, they were an inferno of the righteous justice. No one was thinking straight. I was about the only one with something resembling a clear head amidst the chaos. If I were really a hero, then I would have rejoiced in that glorious day, that momentous turning point in the city's history. I would have been honored to have led the carnage. But this was all about one woman's avarice and desire for vengeance. It was all about one man's lamentation of his own weakness. I wasn't motivated by any desire to help these people. The Lord, backed into the corner, begged for his life. I decapitated him. Great! Then held his severed head up for the people. Their cheers and shouts filled the air. As they watched them rejoice, I wondered. Was this the future that awaited me? You mean like being beheaded? Maybe. Will the people come after me next? It depends, I guess, like on how much you will piss off like the community and your people. That was my head. Was my head going to be in one of their hands one day? The king and the other counts acknowledged my royalty, though it was less because I had a brand new ring and more because they thought that was the best way to prevent things getting any messier. So with their approval, I formally became the lord of the land. I also assumed the former lord's name, because despite his reputation with these people, it was a name people knew, and one that held far more clout than my own. Okay. So basically, only the closest people who were like during the revolution knew who he really is, and everyone else in the city and stuff, they thought like nothing happened. Basically, like nothing happened, nothing changed. He might just like start making like weird new decisions suddenly, and just like that, my longtime dream of power had come true. That said, simply becoming the Lord didn't mean anything. Everything had fallen neatly into place. Many of the local noble families accused me of acquiring my rank illegitimately. They waited, thanks bird, for me to slip up. They even tried to set me up on more than one occasion. I couldn't trust anyone. On top of that, if I took too long making the improvements I'd promised the people, they would start saying I was just as much as a tyrant as the previous lord. There was only so much I could do at once though, especially with my hands so full fending off the vultures nobles. Exhaustion soon began to set in. This wasn't the word I was looking for. The one I wanted to show Morgana. Okay. So, how did you get to know about Morgana whereabouts? It was day after the draining day of betrayal, constantly having to look over my shoulder, fighting to meet unrealistic expectations. I was starting to lose sight of who I was as a person. I couldn't let anyone see me looking weak. They would see it as the opportunity to take advantage of me, to manipulate me, to eliminate me. I needed power to protect myself from those people. Attaining rank was only the first step. I needed even more power, and I had to ensure no one would ever be giving me orders. I could ever play me for a fool. I turned my attention first to bolstering the economy. Makes sense. That's a good choice. I provided subsides to merchants in the city. I expanded trade routes. I made it known that people of any skin color, even those not welcome in the other territories, were welcome in my land, trying to bring some vitality to the city. Okay, he's smart. He's a good lord. The previous lord had evidently loved to throw parties, squandering away nearly all the tax money on his own entertainment. If he had left me more to work with, I would have used it to clean up and repair the slums. But for the time being, I had to remain another item on the checklist. I needed more money flowing to the city as a whole before I could make any headway on fixing up the poorer areas. Helping the people who needed it most quickly became the secondary objective. I had a pretty good idea what my former accomplices still in the slums were saying about me. He used us. I could practically hear them whispering, yeah. But like, you know, everything is all about money. Like, without money you can't do shit. So yeah, governments suck. But still, they need money to do stuff. And so does Jacopo. It's so like shady. But seems like Jacopo is a good guy here. Like overall. You know? Some of them even started publicly slandering me in an attempt to undermine my authority. Claiming I wasn't suited to be in the position of the power because I spent most of my life in the slums. It wasn't long before they had convinced the people I was just another tyrant. I had hoped that they, if no one else, would have sympathized with my position. Realize that I had every intention of helping them, and that I simply didn't have the resources for it yet. Yeah, exactly. Like, everything is about money. We need money to do stuff, and we need money to do money. But no one saw what I was doing. No one believed me, even when I tried to explain. In one case, I invited the old companion to my manor to discuss matters, but the meeting only turned into an attempt on my life. Having absolutely no one I could trust, no one I could call an ally, hit me a lot harder than I expected. It twisted my worldview beyond recognition. I had no need for the sympathy. I couldn't show care for anyone, otherwise someone would inevitably use it against me, an old friend and strangers alike. So his point of view in perspective changed so much that that he didn't even trust Morgana, that she wouldn't kill him. So he still wants her to be like by his side, but like he's like twisted now because he lost faith in everything basically, and he actually became a tyrant. Interesting. In fact, those who knew me best were those who were aware of where I had came from and what I had been before. Were the ones who fought the hardest to tear me down. The rules needed to be created, punishments established. I couldn't allow anyone to take this power from me. Anyone who as much suggested I had come from the slums, anyone who dared disrespect me, had to be eliminated. Jesus, Jacopo. All threats exterminated before they could reach me. Somewhere along the line, I had lost sight of my original dream. Lost all my desire to do right by the people I cared about. Yeah, they basically betrayed you and backstabbed you. I like this Jacopo here. I like this Jacopo. It's not his fault that he turned like this. Come on. Come on. Hell, I didn't have anyone to do right by anymore. Why did I need to climb the top of the ladder? But yeah, like if you think about this, like Jacopo got forced basically to like execute people and stuff. Sure, it just shows that he's like weak, I would say, in like mind, right? He's like he had like weak will basically, and he basically like, you know, stopped trusting people and just like executed his friends and stuff because of like fear, and he lost himself. So it's like just like he's just not the correct person to be a lord overall, because he's like so weak mentally that he got like basically destroyed by his old friends and everything. He's not suited to be a lord. But still, he got forced to do this, right? We can agree he's been weak, and he did not follow through with his dream, what he wanted to do. But yeah, if not for the people that he trusted before, that wouldn't happen. Yeah, goddammit. Jacopo. I feel sorry for him. Why did I need to climb to the top of the ladder? So no one could kill me. Why did they want money? So no one could mock me. Why did they want power? So no one could oppose me. 4 years has passed, but I found myself in the very, very distant place. Miracle blood. Sounds like a sham to me. You never know. They say the sound of her first cry brought rain to the land where she was born, saving the whole village from the rot. They say her blood has the power to cure any disease. One day a curious rumor came to my attention. Okay, so it's all been just a rumor. I wonder if like... Huh. Wait, so Jacopo didn't even know this is Morgana probably, right? I'm trying to recall the talk with Yukimasa when he gave him assignment. I don't think Jacopo said a name or like acted like he know the witch. I think he just acted without knowing who she really is. Huh. The kind of whispering I wouldn't usually put much stock into. It was said that there was a witch living in the cottage by the lake. Few had ever seen her face. They claimed she had the same voice as the guy who had supposedly performed miracles several years earlier in the faraway village. The people loved their stories of heroes and miracles. And if I could show some support for the churches, then maybe people would stop complaining. I was focused too much on the economy. So I devised a plot to capture the witch and make use of her miracle blood. Okay, so let me guess. He's going to capture Morgana. Yukimasa is like bringing him Morgana and he's like, holy Jesus, Morgana, that's you? I didn't knew. And then he's like, I'm full of regret. God fucking damn it. I cannot let her like see me and like make her like, you know, hate me. I would like if Morgana actually saw him, you know, in general. Maybe she's been unconscious and stuff and she never saw Jacopo. Because you would think like she could recognize him, maybe. I wonder like if they like ever met like face to face after like she got imprisoned. Maybe he's just always behind the doors. He never showed his face to her. Because of the regret of what he did. Let's see. I want to establish a new church. Have it to be run by the nun. The city had been throwing over for some time. They call her the Saintness. There I would take the witch blood and call it a miracle medicine, distributing it in exchange for the deities, which the people would certainly come for in droves. And if the blood somehow did happen to have special powers, that would make the scheme that much more effective. I'll worry about the veracity of the rumor later. Right now, all I want is for you to capture her and bring her to me. Okay, this is giving task to Yukimasa. I was too busy to handle capturing the witch myself, so I went and found someone to handle it for me. He was a former slave who had several years back massacred the entire carriage of slaves and the slave traders transporting them. Obviously, not an upstanding citizen, but there was little doubt he would have any trouble apprehending a single witch. The biggest reason I chose him though was because he was enamored with the nun. I honestly thought it sounded hilarious, a murderer falling in love with the nun. I had someone told me at one time when yeah. Shadow, you did it, right? You know what? You know I'm talking to you. During like live stream, you I think you said that there will be more comparison between Fata Morgana and Desire. Ha! Ha! Murder and falling in love with a nun. Ha! Ha! Okay, that's getting cursed. There was a mansion on the outskirts of the city, which the previous lord had built for himself, and had gone unused since his death. It was there I decided to keep the witch, and it was there I decided to establish the church. The nun would have ample space here to provide temporary shelter to the sick and needy. I thought the little reminded, with what little reminded of my conscience that I was doing the right thing. If one witch, probably an old woman, and that was all it cost to accomplish such good, then a worthy sacrifice it was. In an ideal world, it wouldn't matter, young or old. Human being was an unacceptable price for anything. But this was far from the ideal world. So I decided that taking what little remained of this woman's life was the best, the only acceptable course of action. Also, not only Jacopo is going to break because it's Morgana and like what he did to her, but it's also because he's aware that she went through so much before. He admitted this before. He knows she's been used by the Lord as well as he saved her, right? And now he's doing exactly the same what the previous Lord did. Why wouldn't you let her just go? Why you keep her? God damn it, Jacopo. Don't make me hate you again. She would probably despise me for it, but I would gladly accept her hatred in exchange for the benefits her blood would bring the city. Yeah, you just became like a greedy little fuck. It's our responsibility to offer a helping hand to the sick and the poor, to pray for the abandoned souls. Morgana's word from the years back popped into my head. I believe that, as aggressive, self-concerned, and utterly lacking in compassion as my methods may have been, I was following that mantra. So you still like living by the teachings of Morgana, basically by your own twisted standard. I was offering a helping hand to people who needed it in the only way I knew how. I wasn't so dense as to think she would approve of me making an old woman pay the price for my charity though. Doing this made me no better than a thug. Oh, little he knows, I cannot wait. But everything has a price. For every extravagant feast held, a dozen people go to the night without food. That's simply the way of the world. I was no god. I was no saint. I had blood on my hands. I was a villain. I knew no way to accomplish good without doing bad. After the swordsman departed, I took some time to myself. I filled the goblet with water, smelled it, then gave a bit of it to my pet dog before gulping the rest of it. Are you still out there somewhere, Morgana? Yes! And I will be here very soon, without harm. What would you think of me if you saw what I had become? Yeah. Several days later than originally planned, the swordsman finally arrived at the mansion. I had chosen the observation tower on the grounds for the witch prison. It was there, I waited for him. He showed up with the burp sack swung over his shoulder, sank it down on the ground and saying, "There's your witch." I could only hear muffled grunting from inside the sack, but it didn't sound like an old woman inside. The man's clothes and the back both reeked of blood. Tell me you didn't harm her, dog. I smelled blood. You only instructed me to not kill her. I mean, fair point. Mistakes were made, limbs were lost. I cleaned up the blood I got on me. No one suspects anything. That you were able to immediately recognize it as the smell of blood says quite a bit, Lord. Yeah. You have killed before, haven't you? Enough yapping. She is alive, yes? Of course. I felt a tingle of guilt for the woman, but it didn't last long. Her role in my scheme and the fate that awaited her was the same regardless of the condition she arrived in. I toss my gaze from the man to the bag, crouch down to untie it, revealing a young girl with one arm severed. Yep. And now it's hit time. Also, even if that would be like old woman, like that's like very shit move, Jacopo. Like holy Jesus. Okay, we hate Jacopo again, okay. As soon as I saw her, I knew exactly who the girl was. But why? Why was she doing, what was she doing in the bag? Why was she the lakeside witch? What was she doing here? Why was she so pale and shaking? Why had I ordered to capture her? How could I have done that? How could I have let this happen to her? Morgana? My voice was hoarse and rattling. She looked up at me, her face just disfigured and hideous, as it had been 4 years before. Oh, so she did. Is she like recognizing him or not? Maybe she didn't recognize him? Or maybe she did and just like, yeah, what have you become, you monster? And he's just like, yeah, okay, Morgana, well, fuck it. You're my prisoner now. I don't give a fuck anymore about anything. My mind flashed back to her birthday, to when I had considered offering to take her as my lifetime partner if her face hadn't healed in 4 years' time. Is that you? Her question yanked me out of my memories. Okay, she does know him. You remember me? The Morgana remember me. The 3 years we had spent together. What kind of person I had been? The boy who had refused to give up putting ointment on her face. Those horribly unromantic encounters at the graveyard. Her taking shots at me taking shots at her. All the time we had shared. How could I ever forget? Morgana, she remembered me. How could I ever forget all the pain and humiliation you put me through? Oh! She thinks he's the old lord. So she really doesn't know. She actually doesn't know that it's Jacopo. Because he's wearing the clothes and jewelry probably and everything like the old lord. And they look kind of similar, right? Like he looked similar to the like mother, right? So probably also a little similar to the old lord. And Morgana is probably in the state that she's like unable to process the flow of time, basically. So she don't recognize that like this guy should be like old as hell now. Instead she's thinking that Jacopo is actually the old lord. Cut her and took her blood and everything. And this is the environment that Jacopo is going to learn actually about Morgana past. Because Morgana never told him. And now he's getting first-hand experience of her past. Oh Jesus. This is heavy. How could I ever forget the blood sabbats you so loved to hold? What? What was she talking about? Haven't had enough, have you? Leaving scars on every inch of my body wasn't enough for you. You haven't had your fill of my blood. No, that wasn't me. I was the one who tried to heal those wounds. You are the man who bound me, cut me up, called me a witch, and then tried to kill me. I haven't forgotten you even for a moment. No, Morgana. I was the man who rescued you from him. I don't care how much my father preaches forgiveness. That's the one thing you will never get from me. I despise you with all my soul. I revile you with every fiber of my being. For every scar you gave me, I give you a lifetime of hatred. Woo! Yep. No, Morgana. I was not aware you knew the witch. Lord. Yeah, okay. His voice made my blood run cold. Yeah, this is the predicament. Holy Jesus. This is probably the only... This is the only time when he can actually confess to Morgana that he's not the old lord. But at the same time, he cannot. Because he would be revealing himself to the Yukimasa, who's supposed to not know about this. Wow. So he chose to be actually a lord, to continue being a lord, instead of like actually helping Morgana to tell her the truth. What a terrible mistake. I didn't just know her. Morgana was this man, the lord. He destroyed me, mind and body. No, that was another man. He was already dead. I just taken his place. I had come from the slums. I had been part of the slaves' revolt. I knew I had to tell her. He ruined my life. Between the sting of Morgana's accusations and my need to protect my current position, I couldn't muster the strength to do it. You fucking coward. If someone were to find out I wasn't legitimately royalty, I had come from slums, then everything I worked so hard to build up for who though? Yeah, exactly, for Morgana, would come crumbling down. Do I really think it hasn't already? All I had left was my power, my rank. Is that what I actually wanted? No. See, like, Jacopo had like in his mind that like he did it for someone else. He had different purpose, but he's like too deep in this now. Ah, Jacopo. Ah, why? How should I feel about you? I probably should not like you. Because you chose poorly. Poorly as hell. I couldn't afford to lose it too. When did I first start straying from the path? Yes, I know her. Or I knew her years ago. I see. What do you want to do, Lord? You look sick. This doesn't change anything. We'll lock the witch up and proceed as planned. Terrible mistake. Why? Why couldn't I tell her the truth? How? How could I keep her imprisoned? He would tell her if not for Yukimasa being there. He was about to tell her, and Yukimasa was like, oh, you know her? Wow. How could I keep her imprisoned? What had I wanted power for in the first place? Would anyone ever believe me if I said this wasn't how I wanted things to turn out? Yeah, not anymore. Oh, there's the picture of that flashed before. Yeah, and the past got all bloody now. He buried the past in blood. Would anyone ever believe me? Before me floats a man, twisted and writhing in pain. Although whenever what I'm looking at could be considered as the resemblance of a human, is a difficult question. It has an indistinct shape, on the principle of being consumed by darkness everlasting. I know very well what I'm looking at. The moment before the man's soul shatters. Did I do the same thing to him that Morgana did to me? Was it I who summoned the darkness? Who laid his past bare? Who forced him to relive those events? To experience once more everything he felt, everything he fought? Who put him through the despair a second time? I can only imagine how he must have felt. Causing someone he once cared for so much pain. The thing he did are abhorrent, more than deserving of reproach. And it would undoubtedly be easier for him to simply vanish into the eternal abyss. But I couldn't allow that to happen. He still has work to do. His story is essential. It's almost certain Morgana still doesn't know who he really is. Yep, she never knew. He needs to face her, to reveal his truth, the truth with his own words. That's the only way we're going to get her to have a change of heart. Yeah, the problem is, despite of like being who he is, he still continued to take her blood and like imprison her and stuff. Like, he's the reason she's like tied up here. I don't know, like, I don't think like Morgana is going to forgive him at all. Yeah, maybe like he saved her before, but he changed. He changed. He's basically the old lord now. It doesn't matter what's like were his intentions before. That's not all he says to say to her either. So I must bring him back, pull him out of the darkness. I grab the man by the arm and he's covering the blackness for the exit. After some time, I see a speck glistening high above. So I make my way upwards, back into the harsh light of the real world. Okay. And we're back. We just learned about Jacopo Pass, and what's next we'll learn in the next episode. What an episode! Jacopo, you piece of shit. You were such a good guy before. How did you turn out to like this? You, like, Jacopo is so weak. Like, I mean, his mind is so weak. Like, the pressure took into him and stuff, right? I mean, he's just like a guy from the slums that like made a revolt, right? And suddenly he became a lord, tried to fix everything, believing in good and stuff. And he got hard backstabbed by his friends and like close people that he thought he can believe in. So he basically got twisted by his own ideals and not being prepared for the consequences of what he's doing. I would say like I cannot justify what Jacopo did, because of like he like keep lying. Later he never revealed the truth to Morgana. He could like, even if he would not relieve the like, even if he would not tell Morgana the truth, at least he could let her go. At least that, if you think about this. But he did not. We cannot justify this. But on the other hand, he became like this because of others. Others drove him into the corner like that. He wanted actually to do a good thing with this, but he ended up other ways. Well, let me know in the comments, what do you think? That's my thought, my initial thought about Jacopo backstory. Let me know yours. I'm very curious about your point of view, and I will see you next one. So yeah, we'll see. Thank you everyone for being with me. So leave up a like if you liked the episode, subscribe for more, check my Discord and become a member if you would like to support me and see the episodes earlier, and also vote in the future for the next series as well, because it's going to happen sooner or later. We still have to like finish bunch of like endings in Fata Morgana, because there's like bunch of endings, right? But still, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, thank you everyone for being with me. I'll see you next one. So for now, Pocket Watch is going out.